Hey, what's up, champions, and welcome to Growth Mode. I'm your host, Donnie Bovine, and I'm the CEO and founder of Success Champions. I've been in the sales game for over 20 years, and for the past 3.5 going on 4 years, I've run my own company. And I've spent most of that journey trying to figure out how to get better at sales and how to scale a business. Hanging out with me, as always, is my buddy Kevin Snow, a sales and automation tactician and badass. This dude can make the back end of your company's sales process work like nobody else in the world. He's just fucking rad at it. And on this show, we talk about all things sales, automation, business development. I make fun of Kevin regularly, and we debate all things from the viewpoint of an extrovert and an introvert. So, Kevin, on this episode, what the heck are we talking about?
Hey, Donnie. Hi, everyone. So today I want to talk about how some people who are just complete geniuses at certain things are actually scaring people away because they're geniuses at those things.
Oh, this is going to be a fun episode. Have you guys ever been on a sales call? And Kevin has, because he's seen me do this. But ever been on a sales call with a salesperson who just won't shut the fuck up? They just want to ramble on and go on and on. And I traditionally find these with two types of people. If you're familiar with DISC, I find this with high C's, and I find it with high I's. Are the two worst at doing this. The people that are just flat out like the proven how fucking smart they are, or just like the sound of their own voice. But people like Kevin, who have so much fucking technical knowledge and can geek out. I mean, the dude likes Star Wars, so that should tell you fucking everything. But they just completely geek out on their stuff, tend to over geek out. Yesterday I had a sales call. I sat down with the CEO of a decent sized company, and we were scheduled for an hour. We closed a deal in 15 minutes. To this day, I bet if you were asking him right now what the fuck he just bought, I guarantee he doesn't have a complete handle and idea on this. But I also know that we both figured out very, very quickly that we should be doing something together. Let's throw some money at it and figure it out. So why do you think people don't shut the fuck up on it? I mean, why do you think their genius scares people away? That's what we're supposed to be saying.
Well, I think there's a couple things that are at the root of that. One, they keep talking because they're just really excited about what they do and being able to share and talk about all the cool things that can happen. It happens a ton in the technology world because features, bells and whistles, all cool kinds of things that you can talk about. And you just want to share and talk, and it overwhelms the client.
And most times they don't give a fuck anyways.
Yeah, it's not and this is why I love working with tech firms and helping them with their sales processes and programs, is because, hey, it's not about what your system does. It's about the impact your system has for your client.
But Kevin, they got to talk about their 2,200 billion gigawatt fucking flash drive, gizmo widget Kool-Aid.
Hey, if they're in front of a person like me, they can. So, but that's the thing. They people don't understand who they're talking to.
Yeah, but I mean, also they can over geek you though too.
Yes.
I mean, they can get too technical for even. I mean, we were on the phone the other day, and the kid was talking about both things that both went over both of our fucking heads, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what the hell you just said. Can you put that in English?
Yep.
I
think your phrase was, I think I'm using the right combination of letters, but
that sounds like the way I say it. Yeah.
So, and the other part, I think, for a lot of salespeople is they're afraid to shut up. They're afraid to let the prospect, the person across the table from them, get a word in edgewise.
Well, and I agree with that, and I think there's one more. I think they're trying to prove how fucking smart they actually are, that believing they're genius is why people are going to fucking hire them. And look,
I agree.
At the end of the day, you know, if I'm doing something very technical for my business, yes, I want you to prove to me that you can fucking do it. But we hired an SEO company to help us out with a project, and it took them 5 minutes with a very technical guy to explain that they knew what the fuck they were talking about. That was plenty of time for us to go, okay, cool, let's figure out how to fucking work together, versus, you know, coming in there and showing me how you do. I don't need to learn how you do whatever it is you do. Kevin doesn't need to learn how to do it. We just need to know you're competent in what you do. And that doesn't mean a PowerPoint presentation. That doesn't mean you got to take me into your fucking program and show me every bell and whistle. No, show me how you're going to get results with what you do.
So, I don't know which way I want to go, because I had a really good idea, but then you said something that I wanted to touch on too. So what you just said about you don't have to take me into the program and show me all the bells and whistles. You know, when we started working together, when you became a client of mine originally a few years ago, I drew pictures for you.
Yes, but they were super elementary in nature, and it worked.
Yeah. It was. I literally drew out for Donnie how the automation process would flow.
Oh, this is an amazing point on it, right? Because when Kevin was talking to me, I didn't fully comprehend. I knew I needed some email automation shit, right? That's how Kevin and I started working together. And I didn't fully understand what he was trying to walk me through. He said, well, let me do this. Let's schedule another meeting. Let's walk through and I'll walk you through. And this motherfucker literally brought through colored pictures. I mean, as dumb as that sounds, that's really what he brought me, was these colored pictures and charts and things that could walk me through how this whole thing worked, and it was fucking brilliant.
And I do that with a ton of my clients. That's the only compliment
you ever get, by the way.
Yeah, whatever. And I do that with a lot of clients, because the whole idea of automation sounds really complex, and people are thinking robots, and they have this huge vision of a manufacturing floor at a car dealer or a car manufacturer, but it's really just thinking about how data is moving. So, but the picture allows people to see, all right, so someone does this form, and here's how they're going to move. Here's all the steps they're going to hit. And it makes sense to people. They're like, oh, awesome, yes, let's do that. So when I do that with clients, I usually have about a 90% close rate, because It's really easy for them to understand. They've never even seen the system they're buying.
And that's the brilliance. And I think a lot of people really think that they have to show off the bells and whistles. They got to show the dynamics. Now, Kevin's an absolute genius when it comes to a program called Entreport. It's one we use our entire company on. We should get a fucking affiliate link for Entreport to put it in all of our shit as much as we end up talking about them. But I know enough about Entreport now to be dangerous, but I could not do the technical side of Entreport. Literally because that's Kevin's domain. I need to know enough to be able to go look at reports, look at process, do things that we do with all the networking groups and stuff. But there's no reason for me to get in and learn the technical aspect of it. That is why I have Kevin. It was funny. I put a post out on Facebook this week of the things I've learned since I turned 44, and one of them is everybody needs a Kevin. Do you see how many people commented like, how do I get my own Kevin? So we're going to make like a teddy bear version of you so people can get their own Kevin.
Donnie just wants another excuse to go back to Build-A-Bear at the mall.
Do they have one in overalls?
Probably.
But dude, if I get a doll with you, it's got to have a beard. This baby face when you got to go to fucking your GI Joe weekends is the worst. Guys, if you're just listening to this, please go over to the YouTube video of this and see how baby face this motherfucker actually looks. I hate it when he goes to his weekend because, it looks like every time he shaves, it looks like he's put on 10 pounds, and he's
wow,
he looks 10 years younger. So yeah, you're welcome for that. But
thanks.
Back to the technical side of this and why people scare people with their genius is if you're doing all the talking, your prospect is not listening. Period. right? Kevin has been on sales call where people trying to sell me, and I'm spending more time sending Kevin fucking private messages going, oh my God, will this motherfucker shut the fuck up? You know, I'm not an easy guy to sell to unless you can come in quickly and connect.
Yeah. There's a time and place for dazzling someone with your technological genius. And you have to be able to understand where that is in that sales process. But even outside of the technology realm, I don't want everyone that's listening to think, well, I don't sell technology, I don't have to worry about this. Yes, you do. You can scare people away with your genius too. Just because it's not technology doesn't mean people are like, oh, okay, I'll listen to it. And you can ramble on all you want. No, you still need to shut up and know what you're going to talk about.
Yeah, so take it into the realm of sales training. When I sold sales training, they didn't need to know how the fuck I was specifically going to train each salesperson. They needed to know that they were going to get results. So the sales call never spent any time on what the program... I had so many motherfuckers buy sales training off me. As they're signing the contract say, I have no idea what I just bought, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how this is all going to play out and work. And we're talking multiple six-figure deals, all the way through. They don't need to know the essence of how shit works. They need to understand how it's going to solve their problem, get there where they need to go, so they can accomplish what they need to accomplish. So the greatest skill a salesperson can have is the ability to ask the right questions. And I think we did a whole episode on that already. But, so go back and just find the questions episode. And then other than that, shut the fuck up. Go ahead,
so, no, don't tell me what to do.
Shut up.
How do you, as a salesperson, how do you know when it's okay for you to geek out a little bit with your prospect?
God, I hate saying that it's a gut move, but that's part of it. Part of it comes from experience and repetition, but oftentimes it comes from getting into the moment and setting the stage. Like, we were on a call not too long ago, probably a couple weeks back, and when I asked the guy, I'm like, do you want us to go through the entire fucking program step by step, or do you want me to tell you the highlights and how it works? And he instantly said, can I just get the highlights? Groovy. This is step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. This is what we're going to go. This is where we're going to get to, right? So you can set the stage of that. And if you get that engineering mind, freaking Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory, the high C geek out type person, they may want all the details, but you need to do a temperature check all the way through that. As you explain a technical portion, ask them, does this make sense? Do I need to go in deeper or move on to the next portion? And let them guide you along the way.
I think it's also really important for the salesperson to listen to the types of questions the prospect is asking. Because that's going to give you some really good clues on what type of information they want, and if you can go deeper and get a little more geeky about your thing, or if you just need to stay at that results, high level, highlights portion. Because you ask, when we're in sales calls together and someone's trying to sell us stuff for Success Champions, you tend to ask, because I listen, you ask lots of the results-oriented questions, end result, timeline, how long is it going to take to get stuff done, when am I going to get this, when do I make my money back, all that type of stuff, where I'm asking the technical questions. So we're probably driving the salesperson nuts because he doesn't know if he should go technical and deep dive or not. But if I ask technical questions and detailed questions, that, for a salesperson, that should be taken as permission to geek out a little bit and to get a little more detailed in your answers.
Yeah, and you might see me at that moment playing on my phone, but I'm still listening. But you're right. I mean, one, it's hard to sell a duo like this if you've got to play both sides of the gauntlet. Yep. The answer to selling to a group like Kevin and I is you got to make sure both needs get met. And I used a trick for the longest time where I'll always place their name at the beginning of the question I need them to answer. So be like, hey, Kevin, so on the technical side of this is some of the things we're looking at.
Yep.
What specific questions you have? Or, hey, Donnie, as we're diving into this is some of the results, the ROI you should be seeing of this. What specific things are you looking for? And notice I'm not coming in and saying, hey, this is what you should expect. I'm coming in and asking them, what do they need out of that moment of the conversation? I think that plays a lot into it.
I think so too. When I was selling technology, network, connectivity, data, T1s, all that stuff, there'd usually be a meeting with everyone involved. But then I would split out the IT guys, and we'd have our own meeting at some point so that we could do the really deep technical questions and start using words that no one else in the room would understand, and not have the CEO there, because he really didn't care. That's why he had his IT guy, was to ask those questions.
Yeah.
So
and quite often I'm asking Kevin to go. We'll get to a point where agreement to move business forward, and I'll look at Kevin and be like, okay, y'all go geek out, come back and let me know what you found.
Yep.
So on this episode, guys, we dove into how your genius is absolutely scaring your prospects, learning how to shut up and ask questions so you can get more into a real conversation and you can move the conversation forward and actually have a connecting conversation versus talking at them or over their head or droning on when the person doesn't give a shit or providing enough information when they're really technical and they want to know more. And as always, guys, if you get anything out of these episodes, the greatest thing you can do is literally to teach somebody else how to dive in, subscribe to this episode, subscribe to the podcast. Grab their phone, grab whatever podcast app is on their phone, and subscribe them to the show. It means everything to us. Appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you next time.